Welcome! Welcome! Namaste, my sisters! I am so excited to be here with you today in the Shamanic Sister Circle for this beautiful Shamanic Q&A session. I've received so many amazing questions from you and I can't wait to answer them for you to help you get a lot of clarity. Many of you say that you're struggling with confidence, and let me tell you, clarity is the first step to confidence. Clarity is also the first step in any transformational process, so I really look forward to helping you create that today. Everyone who's watching this on the recording, say hi to me in the comments. You can still ask questions if you're watching this later and there's something that I didn't answer. I'm really happy to come back here and check the comments later on to see if you need help with anything else. Now let me just check everything is working here technically. Just opening myself up here in another browser to see if everything is working. Everyone who's here with me live, say hi to me in the comments. I can see myself. Everything is looking good. It's perfect. So I can close this up. Amazing. Okay, so we're going to talk about so many different things today. We're going to talk about the path to become a shaman. We're going to hopefully clear up some confusion about whether you're actually meant to become a shamanic healer or not. We're going to talk about confidence, how you can cultivate it. We're going to talk about the big topic of money and healers. We're going to talk about how you can find your soulmate clients, how you undergo shamanic journeys and rituals. We're going to talk about the difference between core shamanism and indigenous shamanism, and a lot more. Like, I've got so many questions about healing yourself as well, shadow integrations. We're going to talk about all of it. And let me start off with wishing you a happy new moon. Let me know how you're doing today in the comments. The new moon is usually a day when we all feel light and happy. It's a great day to start something new. So I hope that today's session is really going to be that for you, start into something new. So let's dive right in. I've received so many questions about shamanism and what it really takes to become a powerful, successful healer. And I can't wait to talk about all of that right now. If you're here with me live, say hi, pop on any other questions that you might not have asked in the group yet. If you are watching this on the replay, make sure to post your comments below as well. Any new questions, happy to answer those. Also, now, it really is my mission to help spiritual women to understand that if they feel called to becoming a healer, that means that this is who you are supposed to be. So I see so many women who are out there who are really like questioning their calling, who feel unsure, and that keeps them from making a step forward. And that really breaks my heart, because I know that if you are here in this group, you do have a shamanic calling. I mean, why else would you be here? Why else would you be feeling this pull towards shamanism? So I'm going to also give you a great resource to explore your calling further, to be absolutely sure later. But I want you to understand that if you're feeling this, it's for a reason. And I want you to not listen so much to your mind and all the doubts that might be coming up, and really starting to follow your heart and starting to follow your soul when it comes to this topic, because this is your purpose. This is why you're here. You could argue that this is the most important topic of your life, right? The reason why you incarnated in the first place. So I want you to really feel confident in your destiny so that you can go full steam ahead and make the necessary decisions that will take you there. And it all starts with clarity. So let's create lots of that right here, right now. I'm going to start going into the amazing questions that I have received from so many of you. Hi, Jennifer. Welcome, welcome. You're in Peru. How beautiful. One of my apprentices is also there. Thank you for your mission and doing this. You are so welcome. It is really my divine pleasure. Now, before we dive into all of the questions, I want to remind you that next week is the last chance to come on a quick chat with me to explore Shamanic Stars, my 7 months apprenticeship in core shamanism. That includes the complete process of building your successful, soulful healing business at the old 2023 prices. We have a DIY version of this training, we have a group version, and we have a VIP version that also includes one-on-one sessions with me. So really, it fits most needs and budgets. And I've also decided to offer everyone who joins next week the Shamanic Vortex as a free bonus. So this is a these are 3 healing sessions where I personally work on you, doing shamanic healing on you with extractions, retrievals, all of that. I will go into your childhood, I will go into your past lives. It's pretty awesome, and the goal is going to be to heal the witch wound, imposter syndrome, and your money karma. These are the 3 wounds that I see most women who want to be healers struggle with. So I'm going to offer this to everyone who joins next week, even those who don't pay in full. This used to be a pay in full bonus, and I've decided I'm going to expand this offer, even if it means I have to hold several sessions for each of the wounds. That is totally fine, because I really want to help you all the most I possibly can this year. So you can check out all the details and see the testimonials and book a chat with me at shamanicyoga.love/claritycall. And this is the new moon today. It's the perfect day to start something new. So get into my calendar today. And 7 months from now, you might be looking back at today and be like, wow, this is when it all started, and I can't believe how far I've come. Many of my clients have all sorts of miracles starting to happen for them from the moment they have the chat with me, right? Like before they even start the program, because they've decided to step into a new energy. That's the most important reason why you want to do all of this with a mentor, because you get access to my energy, you get access to what I am already embodying, which makes it so much more easy for you to do the same. So these clients of mine, they've really raised their vibration, they've taken action, and it has set them onto a new timeline where things just unfold with a lot more ease and a lot more fun, and all of those old blocks that you seem to have had for years, they just start to disappear, and it's not anymore a question of, oh, how do I do this, how do I that, and why is that so hard? It just, you're somewhere new, in a new landscape, and it all starts to feel so easy, and all you have to do is, walk the path step by step as I've laid it out for you. So pretty awesome. I look forward to talking to some of you next week. And let's dive in with the first question that I received from Rochelle. Hi Eva, hi Nikki, welcome girls. Nikki and Eva are 2 of my wonderful apprentices, so happy to have you here. Now I know we just had our apprenticeship session, spiritual mentorship session yesterday for this week, but if you have any other questions, Nikki, you weren't there, so feel free to pop them into the comments as well. Now Michelle asked, or wrote, I'm most interested in using shamanism for healing. I've done a lot of personal shamanic journeys, but I'm not really connecting how I can use the skill for healing on someone other than myself. I have heard about a medicine man who uses journeys to see illness and release the illness from others, but is that how other healers use shamanism? Or is it a practice of taking someone else through their journey as they heal themselves? This is a really, really good question that enables me to go into the nitty-gritty of what shamanic healing really is. So for those of you who don't really know what a shamanic journey is, you can imagine it like a meditation, but it goes a lot deeper. So usually in our normal state of consciousness, most people they vibrate at a beta frequency, right? And that's not so great. So my frequency is usually at an alpha level, which most people only reach when they are meditating. But for me, this is kind of my normal everyday frequency, which is pretty awesome, which makes me calm and loving. And don't worry, I also have my beta, very human moments. I'm not a saint, but it is really, when you practice meditation for like 13 years, like I have done, you are really able to access this higher vibration a lot more easily. But in a shamanic journey, we go a lot deeper than that. We go into delta frequencies and theta frequencies, and the theta frequency is the one of oneness, where you really feel that you're one with the universe and that you are already everything. And that's really where we want to get to when we're doing a shamanic healing journey for ourselves and others, where we simply access spirit to work through us. So we just become the conduit, which is why a shamanic healing session is not going to deplete you of your energy, but energize you, because you're letting this energy flow through you. And shamanic journeying is really the art of accessing higher consciousness so that you can do this. And I teach this really safely and step by step in Shamanic Stars. So where's the difference between doing journeys for yourself and doing them on other people? So obviously it works differently, right? If you're doing them for yourself, you are an active participant, you're going into your own healing journey, and that's amazing. You can do a lot there. But also there is a limit to what you can do. It's amazing to receive guidance, and inspiration and visions. But when it comes to the actual healing part, it's often better we let someone else work on us. Even me, as a highly trained shamanic healer, I prefer letting my apprentices and my graduates work on me when I really need a session, because because when you are receiving a healing, you need to be able to totally relax to be able to fully receive. The amount to which you will receive is the amount to which you are letting it in, right? You need to be totally relaxed. And if you are an active participant in facilitating the healing, there's limits to how much healing you can receive. I hope this makes sense. So, and it's the same thing when you work on other people, right? You are becoming the conduit, and what really happens is there's a lot of steps to this, obviously, but yes, you do see illness in people, you see energetic blocks in people, you see where they've attracted other people's soul parts, for example. You also see where they're missing their own soul parts, where they're missing their power. You can really, it's like you see into the body, but not just the body in terms of the physical body, but also into the energy body. And you really learn how to work with what you're seeing with different spirit guides and different power animals. So this really is a very ancient art that is many, many thousands of years old. And this is basically what I teach in Shamanic Stars, how to do that, how to do it confidently. And you also asked, or is it a practice of taking someone else through their journey so they can heal themselves? So this is another thing that you can do. So in a traditional shamanic healing journey where you're establishing balance, so whatever problem they're going through, it has manifested on the emotional level, on the physical level, on the mental level, because there is a soul level issue. So when you do shamanic healing on someone, you go to the soul level and you bring the energies back that this person has lost in this time and lifetime and other lifetimes, and you help them release what they have attracted that is not really serving them anymore. And that's a traditional shamanic healing session. But you can also guide your clients onto shamanic journeys, onto shamanic meditations, onto shamanic rituals. And this is also what I teach my apprentices. And this is a different type of healing that works for, issues where you're not working on the soul level anymore, because you need to integrate the soul level healing on the other levels, right? So after a shamanic healing, it's really good to use meditation that you guide them onto, or you can also do it in preparation for a shamanic healing session so that they can deeply relax, or you do it afterwards to help them integrate. And I use both. So when I do a shamanic healing session on my clients, they receive a shamanic meditation to prepare for it, so that I can make sure that their energy is protected, their energetic space is clean while I work on them. And they also receive meditation afterwards to make sure that they're actually integrating the soul level healing into the other levels of their being, into their relationships, into their behavior, etc., so that it becomes really effective. So I hope this answers your question, Rochelle. Excellent questions from you. Let me check the comments before I move on. Can we heal our own child, toddler age? Yes and no. So theoretically, technically, yes, you can. Also practically, you can do it if you feel called to. And I recommend, since you are training in shamanism, Nikita, with me, you can absolutely do that. You will have the know-how of how to do that. But a word of warning, when it comes to our own family, we often are very emotionally involved, and that makes us not great conduits for spirit to work through us. So I was talking about this yesterday with my apprentices, about the dismemberment that happens when you become a conduit for spirit to work through you. And dismemberment makes you basically egoless, so that you can receive the information completely unfiltered, so it's devoid of your own thoughts and feelings, right? Which is why I love shamanism so much, and all the other healing modalities are always kind of like tainted by the healer's personal energy and their own problems and their own energy, which is just not the case in shamanism if it's done properly, which is what I love so much about it. Because I am very sensitive, so I have personally felt the influence, the negative influence that many people who were supposed to help me over time have given me, because they were wrapped up in their own stuff, and this is not how it's supposed to be. So when you are working on your own kid, you are highly emotional about whatever issue they're having, so it makes you a bad healer. But it does not mean that you can't do it or shouldn't do it. So if you feel really divinely guided, if you connect to your spirit guides and you receive a clear call to do that, then you can absolutely do that. So my son, I've worked as little on my son as possible over the years, but I have done it when either it was really like an emergency situation. One time my son was like hyperventilating, which was really, really scary, and here in Bali, you can't just, we're far from a really good hospital that could really help us in difficult situations. So I was able to work on him really quickly, energetically, and calm him down, which was really amazing. So for emergency situations, I really love that I have shamanism at my fingertips and my whole spirit team. And another time he actually asked me for it. That was last summer. He really had a heavy heart. We had left Bali for 2 months to go to see my family and to visit Italy. And he had some kind of pain around that topic. He's moved around a lot in his life, and it brought up a lot of stuff. And he really recognized that he needed some heart healing. And so he found some sticks. That's one of the techniques to remove negative energies, to work with wood. And he brought them to me, and he said he wanted a healing session. So of course I did that for him. So yeah, it really depends. But very good question. Any follow-up questions, please feel free to put them into the comments, any sharings, anything you want to put in there. I'm happy to read those. Now, Clemencia asked, are shamanic journeys and shamanic ceremonies the same? What do shamans believe in? In your course, do you approach self-healing before teaching to become a shaman? So I just explained what a shamanic journey is. It is really a way of accessing higher consciousness and spirit in the form of spirit guides and power animals, so that they can work through you to help yourself and others heal. And the shamanic ceremony, it's kind of like the shamanic journey happens as part of a shamanic ceremony. So I don't just, jump in and do the healing on someone. There is some ceremonial steps that happen before, right? For example, the meditation that I give to them to prepare, that's already part of the ceremony. How you, for example, lay out a circle with specific protective stones before a session to make sure the energetic space is clear, that's part of the ceremony. If you want to sage the room or anything like that, if you want to light a candle, that's part of the ceremony. How you close the circle again after the journey. Specific things like I always take a shower before a healing session. I always take a shower after a healing session. This is all the ceremonial part. And of course, you can also have a ceremony without a shamanic journey. So I call them rituals, but that's the same thing. So what I do with my clients a lot is we do rituals. So here we access the trance state, and we don't just do it internally, but we take some 3D actions, right? That's really the difference. So we might work with candles or crystals, like I said before. We might go outside, we might use the elements, we might do a specific healing in a bathtub or sitting against a tree. So this would be the difference. Okay, so what do shamans believe in? So it's really important to understand that shamanism is not a belief system, right? It's like I said, it's a way of accessing higher consciousness and manipulating energy for the highest good of ourselves and of our clients to bring about healing. So it has nothing to do with beliefs, but it is a way of direct revelation. So you do see what energy really is, and then there is no more need to believe anything, because you just know how it works. There is something like a truth, that is true, like when people believe in God, they've got it partly right and partly wrong. If they think that God is a man in the sky, it's obviously not like that. If they believe that there is a higher power, that's definitely true, but the higher power is part of us, and it manifests in everything and everyone. There's spirit, there's consciousness in every stone, in every plant, in every animal, in every cloud, right? So you just see these things. You learn how to see energies, how to smell energies, how to feel energies, and then there's no more, there is no need to have any kind of belief system. Now, in my course, do you approach self-healing before teaching to become a shaman? Yes, absolutely. Because before you work as a shaman on others, you need to know what it feels like to work as a shaman on yourself. That's very important. There's many things that we can do for ourselves. I place a lot of importance on self-care and self-healing, because when you don't do that, even if you are fully trained, if you have great business coaching, your business will come crashing down your ears if you don't put yourself first, and if you don't serve from a full cup. If you work from your own energy, if you work crazy hours, if you're in front of the computer all the time, if you work from a depleted state, you're not well in your body, you're not well in your mind, you're not well in your heart, you have soul level problems, then it's very difficult to become a clear channel for spirit. So yes, absolutely, we work on that first. It's the first 10 weeks of Shamanic Stars. We devote completely to that. We go into all of the big things, inner child healing, heart healing, shadow integrations, all of the big stuff, but we do it the shamanic way. So you already learn how shamanic healing works. And that's really amazing, so that by the time you start the actual apprenticeship in week 11, you're going to be like, okay, I have felt the incredible effects on this. I could never have imagined that 10 weeks of doing something is going to make me feel this good on all levels. So you're going to be going into the training already having a lot of confidence in this modality and in yourself, which is a great basis. Okay, I hope that answers your questions. Clemencia, great questions. Good, now on to the next one. So, Kat asks, what is the purpose of a shamanic journey? And how to do it most effectively. So there are many purposes to shamanic journeys, many purposes. So sometimes you want to do a shamanic journey to get clarity on why something has happened in your life. So that you can, move ahead and heal. Often we really need to understand why something happened so we can start a healing process. Maybe you need guidance on a decision that you are about to make. You want to make sure that you're taking the decision from your higher self, with the help of your spirit guides. Maybe you need to go back into a past life and bring back a soul piece that you've lost. But again, I recommend that you let someone else facilitate these kinds of journeys for you. Maybe you want to meet your inner child and help your inner child to heal. Most of when women feel like victims to their circumstances, it is always their inner child that is coming up and that is feeling, not ready to take responsibility for herself because she's a child, right? So we need to go back and heal this part so we can stand in our full power as women today. So there's so many different purposes, right? And of course, you might also go and do it with the purpose of helping someone else to heal. You might want to connect to your spirit animal to increase your own power. You might want to receive a vision for your future, and you might want to visualize to manifest. There's so many ways that you can use a shamanic journey. It's really all about raising your consciousness, so it helps you with everything. Really with everything. Every aspect of my life is completely enriched by shamanism every single day. How do you do it most effectively? Well, this is a 10-week process. This is what I teach my apprentices in the first 10 weeks as they go about healing themselves. I teach step by step how does it work. So I have an extra training on the steps of learning a shamanic journey. It's part of the shaman initiation, which is my 3-day training. That's where I recommend you start, to really make sure that this is your calling and that you want to do this. There's no place better than that. I can put the link into the comments for you. I recommend to do that to everyone who hasn't gone through this training yet. Many of you will have though. It's kind of where I always start out with clients because I want to make sure that they have all the clarity and confidence that they need on their calling before diving into this, because I want to make sure everyone who trains with me is really qualified to do this. But like I said before, the most telltale sign of you being qualified is that you have this shamanic calling, that you feel called to shamanism and that you want to help others, right? That's really what qualifies you more than anything else. Everything else you can learn. So how to do it most effectively, there's a lot of different things. When you go out there and you look for a course of how to learn shamanic journeying, many people are asking, why is your course so expensive? And I'm like, well, because I personally guide you through this process, because I want to make sure that you learn this safely. This is like Harry Potter going to Hogwarts. Why does it take him 7 years to learn it all, right? Well, because this is something that you can learn quickly if you want to, but you're neither going to be very good at it, nor is it going to be very safe, because this is really like getting a magic wand. This is the closest we have shamanic journeying to actually having a magic wand and being able to manifest anything and heal anything just like this. But it takes training. It takes step-by-step training. You need to implement certain things, you need to learn certain things. And I personally think that the only way to do this in a really safe and powerful way is with mentorship. And I'm only one person, I only have so much time and energy. So I want to make sure to give my clients every, really custom tailored guidance to help them acquire this amazing skill that they're going to be using their whole life. And I personally think that my training is extremely affordable considering how much time and energy I put into this and how much you are going to get out of it. So, how frequently do you journey as a shamanic practitioner? Daily, every few days, weekly? Lisa is asking this. So, daily, usually. Yeah, daily. So, I do it obviously when I do healing sessions with my clients. Now, I have become much more of a shamanic teacher than a shamanic healer because I teach this, right? So, I spend I would say 70% of my time actually teaching and 30% doing healings. And this is the way I think I can serve the best, not because I'm not a great healer, I am, but because I want to help so many other people learn this amazing skill, and this is how I do it. But I still journey every day for myself, and journeying becomes something that's almost instantaneous. So over time you won't need to listen to the drums anymore, you won't need to set aside specific time. The stuff is just coming in. So a formal journey, I don't do that often anymore, several times per week for sure, but not every day. But I still channel information all the time, every day, many times. I hope that answers your question, Lisa. Now Deepa is asking how to integrate the shadow side and how to heal relationship with money, especially if it's karmic and past life and ancestral related. Okay, those are two different questions. So, how to heal the shadow? The shadow is really, our shadows are really aspects of ourselves that come from deep wounding that we have not been able to, to integrate. So, a shadow is always originally something good. For example, let's say your shadow is anger. You get very angry at your child, at your partner. Well, this anger is good originally because it is protecting you, because you learned how to get angry to defend yourself. So there's always a good intention behind the shadow. But of course, it's kind of developed this own life, and it's destructive, right? So we want to be able to integrate and heal this shadow. And how this works really depends on what exactly the shadow is. But for the example of anger, there would definitely have to be involved some inner child work, maybe some shamanic healing for past life situations, and there might also we might also work with the feminine archetypes here. So it really depends. There's a lot of things. I have a specific training on shadow integration in Shamanic Stars, where we work with our higher self to really just look at this expression of our shadow, to fully witness it, and to let it do its thing, to let it say its bit. Because often all it takes is for us to really be very conscious with what's going on, to be very present for it to start healing. So this is really how I would go about it, but depending on what kind of thing you're dealing with, it would look slightly different. Now, healing our relationship with money, I'm going to talk about that a little bit later because there's another question coming up with that. Now, Kairi, one of my Moon Tribe members, is asking, how do I separate my own energy and the energy of other people? So I think, Kairi, you already have access to the practice that I teach with the stone circle. The stone circle represents our personal space, and the tree represents us. Our tree of life represents ourselves. Our, the roots are the mortal aspects of ourselves. The branches represent the eternal aspect of ourselves. The trunk is the heart, where it all comes together. And there is a practice that I teach where we really learn how to clear our energetic space from really embodying the different levels of the tree's energy and sweeping everyone who doesn't belong basically out of the circle. And I think you're already doing this practice and it is working well for you, but you're saying that sometimes it still happens that your energy seems completely gone and you wonder what happened. So what happened is that your vibration is not yet stabilized completely in its new place. You started the moon tribe, right? You did all of this healing, the inner child healing, the chakra healing, and it's brought you to a new vibrational place, and it takes a while to be stable in that energy, right? So my advice to you is simply keep doing what you've been doing, you know, and the more you work on your chakras, you know, on balancing them out, the more you will really understand what your own energy is, and until where it goes, where other people's energy starts, and you will learn how to establish great boundaries. And that practice with the stone circle, do that every day, make that a daily practice, and you know, with time you're going to find that your energy is very hard to shake. So that would be my advice to you. I hope that's helpful, and if you have any follow-up questions, just ask in our Moon Tribe group. Okay, any questions from those who are live here with me or on the replay? Let me know in the comments. And I'm moving on to Louise. How do you feel deserving of your gifts and good enough? Let me know in the comments if this is something that you're also wondering, because this is a very, very common topic for many of us healers. So why do we even feel called to become healers, right? There are several reasons. One of the reasons is that we've already been a healer in a past lifetime, usually many lifetimes, and we're being called to continue on this path. And the other reason would be that we have gone through something hard, something difficult, and we have healed. And now we have this desire to help other people doing the same thing. And this is very, very natural, right? When you receive something good, you want to give back, right? When you've achieved something amazing, you want to help other people do it. This is just how the universe works. There is always giving and receiving, right? The whole universe works on that basis. So the thing is, why we feel sometimes like we're not good enough, or we don't feel like we're deserving of this gift, is because we have inner child wounds, right? We did not grow up being told every day that we're amazing and that we're going to go on to do great things and then we are needed in the world, right? Let me know in the comments if you have not been told that as a kid. I definitely did not hear that. And it kind of makes us doubt ourselves a lot. And then we go through life and, you know, in our societies, especially as women, we are not encouraged to go out there and do our thing. You know, we are not often praised on our innate qualities. We're praised on our looks or whatever, you know, if we can cook well or something like that, but not on our innate gifts, you know, on what we haven't learned, on who we are, right? And this is something that really shamanic journeying helped heal for me, because when you are in the trance state, you're experiencing yourself as love and light. And you realize that you are really connected to everything, that you are everything, and that therefore obviously you are worthy of everything. And for me, this is really the most powerful way to feel that I'm good enough, to feel deserving of everything that I want, and to know that it is not just my birthright to be a healer, but it is also my duty. This is why I'm here. This is my purpose. So I hope this helps, and shamanic journeying is really also the best way to help you create self-love, self-worth. It's really a daily practice where you receive such abundant support from the universe, and there's no better evidence of being deserving than that. Good. Now, Kim is asking, when I ask my soul for direction, being a healer and creative always comes forward for me. I'm still feeling in what way I move forward with this invitation from the universe. So for you also, Kim, I really recommend that you go through the shaman initiation if you haven't done so yet. You know, your soul is telling you that you're a healer and creative, you know, for a reason, because it is true. And so how to move forward in the shaman initiation, I really go over it all. What is shamanism? What is your calling? I guide you onto a journey to your higher self, and I also explain the business aspect of it all, how it all comes together. So this might be a great way for you to explore that. I've put the link into the comments. If you've already gone through the shaman initiation, then the next step is to just have a chat with me, talk about where you're at, and talk about where you want to get to, and see if my training is right for you or not. And even if it shouldn't be, I might be able to recommend other resources. Now, Hannah is asking, how do you find those who need you? Let me know in the comments if you're also asking that. How can you best serve others using the gifts that you have? How do you build the confidence that you need to help and provide the service and assistance in healing? And how can you make the others open to what you have to offer and listen without getting scared if it's something inexplicable for the mind? These are such amazing questions. Let me know in the comments if you're also wondering about all of this. So how do you find those who need you? Well, first of all, you need to embody who you are meant to be as a healer, right? And that involves the self-care, it involves the self-healing, and it also involves the right training. And when you embody that, you'll notice that people just automatically come to you without a lot of effort. But of course, it is highly helpful if you have a soulful sales strategy implemented, if there's easy ways that people can learn about you and about what you have to offer. And then those who are right for it, they will reach out to you. So how do you make the others open to what you have to offer? You don't. You cannot do that, right? You can simply answer the questions that are going through their minds and show them that there is a path to get what they want to have, to experience what they want to experience, to be who they want to be. And you know, you need to already approach people who are open to the spiritual. You cannot be a healer and it's not your job to have to convince others that energy healing is real. You know, you mentioned something inexplicable for the mind. All of what we're doing here, I am talking about it, I hope eloquently, but it is something inexplicable for the mind. There is no way I can describe to you the magic of a shamanic journey. There's no way. You have to experience it. So you have to find people who are already open to that, okay? It's not your job to convert people into anything, okay? And how to build the confidence that you need to provide the service and assistance in healing. Well, first of all, you need to create clarity, right, on who you are, who you're meant to serve, why you're here, right, what exactly you're meant to do with people, and the right shamanic training can help you with that. My shamanic training guides you through this process of learning this skill step by step, but not only that, but also finding out exactly what your soul purpose is. And, you know, how you can manifest it into the 3D in the form of a successful business. So that's really important that the shamanic training that you undergo offers that to you. And when you're ready to actually go out there and work on people, this is why my training has practice sessions, right? Because you want to be confident by the time that you do that. So this is about practicing on people for free. I do not recommend that you do that a lot. This is just I recommend for my clients to do 3 sessions. That's all that's needed. And I recommend you don't do it on family members or close friends, just anyone who wants to receive a free healing. And it's limited to 1 or 2 sessions maximum with the same person. Because you will also find that the people will receive the healing from you much more abundantly if they're giving back to you. So I definitely recommend you start charging for it as soon as you can. Now, of course, if you have the right mentor at your side, you're going to feel confident a lot sooner. And also, of course, if you have the right community, which is why I place so much importance on sisterhood, because if you have other women at your side who are on the same path, that just helps you so much in feeling confident in going out there and doing your thing. And I hope this helped you. Now, let me know, everyone is here with me, if you have any follow-up questions to what I was just talking about. Jennifer is saying, yes, great questions. I totally agree. Now, Jennifer, I'm going to come to your questions that you asked in advance in a moment. First, there is Ree, who asked the best processes and practices for streamlining and automating systems and technical aspects. Well, for this one, I have to really say this isn't my expertise, because I teach my clients how to run small businesses where they work intimately with clients to help them in really profound ways, all while working only 20 hours a week and earning 6+ figures. You do not need a huge tribe to make a lot of money, right? I know out there it's all about the quantity and stuff, but my email list is 3,000 women. My women's circle is 3,000 women. That's a very, very small following, and yet I make tons of money because I provide something really, really big for my clients that they are happy to pay for, right? So this is really key here. Find out who can you best serve, what offer would best serve them, and then start offering that, right? And this makes it kind of redundant to have a lot of automating and streamlining. Of course, like, you know, I have an email service provider, I schedule emails ahead of time and things like that. But this kind of it, you know. I use Facebook ads, but you don't have to at all. This is not what I teach my clients how to do in the beginning either, because it's complicated. You don't need that. All you really need is one social media network, and to focus on it, and to really provide value, and to really make your clients understand that they can save a lot of time and money and energy in working with you, and that you can help them get to where they want to get. And then, you know, you have happy clients, you're investing yourself in them, they're gonna give you tons of testimonials, and that's how you get new clients. So it is really very easy. Now, if you want to have a huge business that influences millions of people, that's different, right? You will need to have some streamlining and automating and a lot of tech to deal with, but you can hire a team at that point. But you have to start out differently. If you're not making multiple six figures yet, it is not time to think about that yet, because you cannot think about all the great people out there that have huge businesses, you know, like people like Gabrielle Bernstein, you know. She's doing very shallow stuff, really, you know. I'm not saying her work isn't great or whatever. I think it's very much needed, because she takes people at the very start of their spiritual journey. When I do her meditations, it doesn't do anything for me because they don't go very deep. But for many people, this is the first time they're approaching manifesting in meditation, and for them it's life-changing. We need people like that out there who address a really big group of people. But for me, that's not what I do. I work really, really deep with people, and that only works in relatively small containers. Now, the biggest group I've ever had is 50 apprentices at the same time, and I don't think I'm able to do more than that, in a way where I feel like I can still give the best of me. I'm not saying that I don't want to help more people. I do. If at some point I realize how I can do that in a way that is congruent with my energy and with my mission, then I will do that. For now, this is how I do things, and it works amazing, because I know that I am in fact helping millions of people, because I do help thousands of women every year, and these thousands of women go out and they help thousands of people themselves, right? So this is how I have this big impact, although I don't work a lot of hours. I hope this makes sense. And, you know, if you're already at this point where you're making a lot of money and you just want to work less hours, I can help you with that. I can teach you how I run my business currently, which I've started to teach to clients who are already at least a 5K per month right now. They want to scale further and they want to help more people. Then I can teach you how I run my business currently, which involves ads, which involves a bit of automation here and there, and small funnels, but it doesn't get very technical. Okay, I hope this makes sense, Now, let me check Stephanie's question. My problem is getting out of fear and being seen, stepping up into my power and actually sharing my gifts. I help the ones in my community because I'm just known about by word of mouth, but I really want to start getting clients. I don't know where to start. Okay, this is a great question, Stephanie. Let me know in the comments if you can relate with Stephanie here. So this fear of stepping out and being seen has a lot to do with inner child wounds, and also with what we call the witch wound, when we have been healers in past lifetimes and things didn't go so well, you know, when we were branded as witches, and we have to heal these wounds. I'm actually having, for everyone who's joining Shamanic Stars next week, I'm having the witch wound healing session coming up end of next week. So this is something really, really amazing, where I actually go into that past life. I take that soul part that you're missing, because it splits in traumatic situation, and I bring it back to you right now. I'll tell you how to integrate it, and then all of a sudden you'll be like, wow, this fear is just gone, you know, and it opens up your energy a lot. And how to step into your power, and that's really about getting the right training, obviously, becoming powerful, and sharing your gifts. Yeah, like I said, you have to heal those core wounds that prevent you from doing that right now, and you have to get the right training, and then you have to have the right strategy so that you actually share your gifts in a way that reaches the right people, and then also brings in the money. Now, if you are already known in your local community by word of mouth, why do you do this work for free? Why do you not charge people for it? So I want you to understand that charging money as a healer is just as normal as, being a vegetable producer and selling your tomatoes. Like, why would you not charge for your healing services? Are you some kind of heiress that's sitting somewhere in a castle and you don't need the money? Even if that's the case, still charge the money, give it to charity, because if you don't charge people money, they're not going to be able to receive fully from you. Money is a beautiful energy that supports us. It is our currency that we have. In some cases, we can do exchanges with people where it makes sense. Usually when it's an international exchange, it doesn't make sense. And we can't only do exchanges because we have bills to pay, right? We have rent to pay, we have taxes to pay. This is just normal. We need to charge money. So you shouldn't feel guilty at all about doing that. I really am not quite clear on where this fear really comes from. This prejudice that you shouldn't charge as a healer because indigenous healers are the most prosperous ones in their community. Everyone brings them everything that they need. They don't have to worry about needing to cook or repair their house or they have their clothes made for them. This is a natural thing. A healer is someone who provides the most valuable service of all. So of course the healer must receive back abundantly. So if you're keeping yourself from doing that, it's a sign of deep wounding somewhere, either in your childhood or in your past life, and you need to work on that. I hope that makes sense. And about where to start, this is a really good question. You need to start with self-care, you need to start with self-healing, you need to train, and you need to learn how to create a healing business step by step. So those are the 4 elements that you really need. And if you want one place to learn all of that in without having to look for all the different resources, then Shamanic Stars is a place that you might want to explore. Now, if you've already trained as a shamanic healer and you don't need more training, you can also just do one-on-one business coaching with me. My program Business and Bliss is pretty awesome. And I actually have some free spaces available right now, not to start immediately, but to start in March. So if this is something that you want to explore, we can do that also. You can go to shamanicyoga.love/claritycall, and if you book a call with me there, we can also talk about Business and Bliss. You just have to put that in the questionnaire so I know what we're going to talk about. And this program is amazing. In just 4 months, you can start to earn a real income from a business or scale your current income to 6 figures. And right now, I'm still charging the old 2023 prices. Okay, so Jennifer, your questions. You said, how can I be of service when I'm struggling with my finances and emotions? This is a really, really good question. So when you're struggling with your finances, I really recommend doing some money healing. I have a really low-cost membership, the Moon Tribe, where I really guide you through a lot of very deep healings around money. So this is something that you can consider if you're on a small budget to start with. Definitely a lot of healing, because money is just a form of love, right? So if you can't receive that, then there is just some deeper healing that needs to happen. And of course, you might also just need to get creative and get practical, Many people are like, I really want to become a healer, but I don't have the money to train. And I'm like, yeah, well, then you need to get the money. And they look at me like, but it's just a decision. If you make a decision, okay, I'm going to do this training, then you can get creative and you can sort out the money. And I know this is difficult for a lot of women because they have a weak navel chakra and they are missing some power pieces. So again, this would be my membership where you could start to work on that. But I'm just telling you as it is, you need to get creative. Like, I started this whole business and my training when I was a single mom to a baby. And I was homeless. I didn't have a home. I was sleeping with family, sometimes with friends. I was traveling around to cheap places. And I still managed. How did I manage? Well, I saved on a lot of things. I worked for food. I worked in a communal garden. And I got a loan, And nobody gave me an apartment because I didn't have a steady income. I didn't want to just give my kid into a crib. So I wasn't willing to take on any kind of normal job, but I took on odd jobs here and there. And I put out my healing services. And I was hired as a yoga teacher by a studio when my kid was just 2 months old. And it was really hard leaving him for a few hours with a babysitter or with his at that point, very unreliable dad. But I did whatever I had to do, and I got a loan, and I invested some of that money into getting help, starting my training, and then I just started offering my services in whatever small way I first could do. There's always a way you can get what you need. There's always a way, but you just have to believe that and get creative and start. You cannot let your circumstances dictate your life. Your circumstances are a manifestation of your current energy. So change your energy. Like literally, if you go on my YouTube channel, you will find a lot of free practices. They're just 10-minute daily practices. If you already start with those, your energy is going to change. I can promise you that. Do them every day, your energy is going to change. And the most important thing is correct your thinking. All of your limitations are self-made. If you don't take responsibility for it, if you keep telling yourself you can't, then that's going to be true for you. Always, always, always. Okay, so create new beliefs, think new thoughts. Okay, that's really the best advice I can give you here. And with your struggling with your emotions, that goes back to healing, heart healing, inner child healing, past life healing. And again, just check out free resources or check out my very affordable membership, the Moon Tribe. It's at shamanicyoga.love/moontribe, and go from there. Now Jennifer also asked how to integrate my professional name that works in environmental conservation with my more private shamanic practitioner one. Should I operate under a pseudonym that has a more shamanic ring to it? So many of my clients, when they train with me, they receive a specific shamanic name that they then adopt. Many of our parents didn't give us names that really reflected who we are. I was very lucky. Lilith Moon is my real name, right? This is the name my parents gave to me. So my mother was a total witch, and she absolutely knew who I was. Many of us are not that lucky. So what I see happening a lot is when you receive your shamanic name, many of my clients go through a legal name change, and then they have a more shamanic name. But this is not something that you have to do. If you feel that your name fits you, that you currently have, then just keep that. Like, be authentic, show up as who you are. You're a Western woman, you have a Western name, so what? Shamanism is really our birthright as humans. It's where we all come from. All of our ancestors have practiced shamanism. All of us have practiced shamanism in past lifetimes. And every single indigenous person I have ever met and studied with, they all want Westerners to embrace shamanism. They all know it is the way to soul level healing for us as humanity. It is the way that we can preserve our beautiful planet. It is the way that we can create peace and prosperity for all of us. So it is only Westerners who place these weird limitations on ourselves. So don't let that stop you from being who you are. And because you mentioned that there's two different professions coming together, I would embrace that. I would even merge them probably. This is probably your calling. This is probably where you're going to head to. I mean, environmental conservation and shamanism, what could go better together than that? I'm a total green nerd when it comes to these things. I'm a minimalist, and I am super protective of the environment, super careful with what I buy, what I consume. And I give a lot of money to charities that plant trees, and I love permaculture. I lived in Findhorn, big permaculture place, eco-village. So, that might go really well together, those two things. So I would not split myself into two different names and things. So that's just my take on it. The best advice I can give you is trust yourself on that. Really go with your intuition. Jennifer is posting a smiley, a heart-loved smiley. So I'm guessing that means that you liked my answers, Jennifer. If you have any follow-up questions, let me know. Now, anyone who's here with me live, last chance to ask me some more questions. If you're on the replay, you can also, of course, ask. Now, everything that we just talked about, if you want to have all of that accessible in one place, so you can learn shamanic journeying and healing to access higher consciousness and your own spirit team for guidance and healing and manifesting at will, so you can feel confident as you learn how to facilitate soul level healing in the midst of our loving women circle, so you can have a fully functioning, beautiful healing business that changes lives while you earn great money and without taking away all of your energy and time, so you can feel great, body, mind, heart and soul, truly healed and serve from a full cup, then Shamanic Stars is the all-in-one solution for you. It's all the self-care, the self-healing, the shamanic training, the business coaching. It's everything you need to succeed with ease and fast. Just 7 months from now, you will live your dream life as a healer. You know, this training is worth at least 200,000 euros, and I'm not exaggerating. I paid 100,000 euros over the years myself to learn everything that I'm going to share with you. I've trained with amazing shamans, and I have had amazing business coaches, really like high level, top of the world people, and I've created tons of practices and processes that you can get nowhere else than from me, because I'm the channel for it. And I've shortened the time for you to become successful from a decade of training in shamanism and business like I had. It's 13 years to date. That's the time I had to put in. I've shortened all of that to just 7 months. So I'm so confident that this is the absolutely best training out there. And I have experienced many of the other trainings myself, so I can say that with total confidence. So all it really takes to get started is some courage and a willingness to make it work instead of finding excuses. And only you can do that for yourself. So book that chat with me. Right now is an amazing time to start. We are at the moment a really small tribe of just 13 women in Shamanic Stars. That means I have lots of time and energy for everyone in our live sessions. And you can still join at the old 2023 prices for all 3 versions, DIY, group and VIP. That's only valid until the end of next week. And you can also get the Shamanic Vortex for free. That's another bonus worth 1,000 euros. It's 3 powerful shamanic healing sessions. 1 healing session with me is 333 euros, and I offer them like in very small quantities, usually only for my apprentices. So these sessions are going to be amazing. I'm going to personally work on your inner child wounds, your money wounds, your past life wounds, to give you the best possible start in the training and your new life as a highly successful healer. I'm so excited to talk to many of you next week. Go to shamanicyoga.love/claritycall. Check it out. You're going to find more information about the program. You're going to find testimonials. So read through that, feel into it, and if you feel called to it, connect with me one-on-one next week. And then you're in. And I really look forward to welcoming you into the tribe. And if you have any other questions for me, put them into the comments. I'm really happy to answer them for you. Any advice for today's new moon ritual? Well, Nikki, as my apprentice, you have our collection of 25 new moon and full moon rituals. So I would just go to that bonus in the program and really feel into which one speaks to you the most. There are so many new moon rituals in there for different purposes. Whether you want to manifest money, or you want to manifest a new love, or you want to receive a vision. There's deep healing ones, there's fun ones, there's a lot of it in there. And also, if you want to learn how to create your own new moon rituals, you can go to my YouTube channel and you can check out a training I have on there about how to create your own new moon ritual today. Great. I am so happy to have been here with you, and I hope this session served you deeply, and I'm sending you so much love. Happy new moon, everyone, and namaste, and bye for now.